No questions about 1 to 45? So just things to know for this, so it'd go on. There's times where you might be given some equation, and they want to know if this is a solution. So what we have to do there is you have to realize that's x, that's y. Plug your x value and plug your y values in. So you get 4 times 1 plus 2 times 2. So I get 4 plus 4. Is that greater than 10? No, 8 is not greater than 10. This is false. So this is not a solution. Okay, so that's one thing that you might come across. Another thing you might come across is you might have some equation that's drawn where you shade this region, and they might say, hey, is this point a solution? And this one would be yes, because it's part of the shaded region. If you had a dot that showed up here, this is not, because it's not part of the solution. And then obviously the graphing and the shading goes with it. So that quiz on Friday, I think some of you have to make it up. It's your responsibility to come make it up with me. I'm not going to chase you down. If you choose not to do it, then the 0 stays in the grade book, and that's just kind of how it is. But there are some of you that owe me quite a few things, so make sure you're coming in during one of your off periods. Doesn't matter if I'm in class or not. You are welcome to be in here. So just take care of that, okay? All right, so I am on page 155 of the notes. So equation of a line, there's a little bit that you have to fill in below. If your equation is solved for y, and there's nothing attached to y, it's just y equals, and there's no parentheses, then the slope is attached to the x, and then the y-intercept is 0, b. So remember, the slope is a map. You can use a map to find a second point once you've established one point. If you try and say, oh, I'm just going to start counting up and right from someplace, you don't know where to start counting up and right from. Okay? So where the line crosses the y-axis is kind of vital. So B crosses someplace here. Can be anywhere on that line. Yeah, 155. Yeah, so yeah, you're on the perfect thing. Okay, so that's stuff that we've talked about. This is the second question, I believe, if my memory serves me right, where can we identify the y-intercept and the slope? That's solved for y equals, and there's nothing else, there's no parentheses or anything. You have a slope, you have a y-intercept. If you have x by itself, or even negative x, realize in front of the x, if it's just x, your slope's 1 over 1. If your slope says negative x in front, then that is negative 1 over 1. Okay, so does anybody need more time on that page that we're sitting on? Okay, I'll give you some. So, and these are just some things just to note. If you have like y equals x plus 2, you have a slope of 1 over 1. If you have a slope of negative x plus 2, then your slope is negative 1 over 1. Okay, so 155. Yeah, buddy. I don't know how I remember that off the top of my head. Every now and then a blind squirrel finds something to eat. Yeah, but the stir of sarcasm sometimes it falls into. We good? Everyone good? Good. Happy? Good? Okay. All right, so the bottom looks like there's 3 graphs, right? Mm-hmm. All right. So this looks like our first graph. Okay. Give the equation of the following line in slope-intercept form. So first thing we have to realize is slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. Okay? So my friends, where does this cross my y-axis? -3. So that's my b value. Okay? So far with this, I would know this. Okay? So far I know that. Then I want to find the slope. Okay? Well, I know I have this point here. So I'm going to go along this line. I can't really see what that point is. Can't really see what that point is. But I can see what that point is. Do you agree with how I just did that? Okay, I'm just looking to see where I can find it. So this goes up 2 and right 3. So up 2, right 3 means my slope's got to be positive. So my slope on this is going to be 2 over 3. So I'm going to take that 2 over 3, replace it with the m. So I get y equals 2/3 x minus 3. And that is my linear equation, bless you, in slope-intercept form, bless you again, that satisfies this equation. So I look for the y-intercept first, and then I look for 2 points. The y-intercept is a point. Then you try and find a second point along your line somehow that is definitely crossing at that region. You don't want to put like a decimal in there for your slope. Though a decimal could exist in word problems with slopes, but we want to stay whole numbers or fractions. May I move on? The second one is a second graph. The second graph. Stirrups mortuary, you stab them, we slab them. They hung up on me. They didn't call me, they called them mortuary. All right. Problem number 2. So again, we want to have this in slope-intercept form. So y equals mx plus b. My friends, what does it appear my b value is? Remember, the b value is where it crosses the y-axis. 4. So that is my b value. That's going to be 4. So far I know y equals mx plus 4. Agree? Anybody struggling with that? So now we have to find our slope. So I know I have this point here. And looks like I can count down. I think that would be another point. What do you think? So it looks like I'm going to go down 2 and right 1, 2, 3, 4 and right 4. So if I went down, that means it has to be negative. So right now I know I have a slope of -2 over 4. They do like you to have them, as a reduced fraction. If you don't make it a reduced fraction, I'm not going to count it wrong. Unless it is a multiple choice, then I'm not going to have the, unreduced versus reduced fraction. So how would I reduce -2 over 4? What is it reduced to? -1/2. So now I know I have -1/2. I'm going to plug that into there. So y equals -1/2 x plus 4. So my friends, that is my linear equation that in slope-intercept form, so y equals mx plus b, that satisfies the graph. We okay? May I move to the third graph? Third graph appears to be a horizontal line. Horizontal line is one of our special cases. Agreed? Okay, now, stirrup, this guy here, me, I always had a hard time remembering. Gosh, is it y equals or x equals? Well, what do I know this point here to be? The y-intercept. So that's y equals, 2. Okay? That's a y value. Oh, that means that my equation has to be y equals 2. Y equals 2 has a slope that is 0. Okay? If it's a vertical line, it has a slope that's undefined. But this is one of our special cases. So that's all you need to put for this linear equation. Some people might choose to say, oh, y equals 0x plus 2. I think both the answers are appropriate. There's not one that I think is more correct than another. So if you put either one of these answers, it's totally fine.
So is y equals to just collaboration?
Yeah. Just a little less writing. But if you show that 0x, I guess you show that you understand that you have a slope that doesn't have any change in the vertical direction. So, that could be it. So it's your choice how you want to write it. What does that next page look like? Ooh. Is that it? 4 types of problems? All right. All right. So there's 4 types of problems for writing equations of lines. So this first one, we know the slope is 1/2 and the y-intercept is 2. So I know that I can go to y equals mx plus b. I can plug my m and my b in and get my answer right out of it. Okay? So that's one thing to know. So the second problem, 0, -3, that's our y-intercept. So b equals -3. So far you know this. Agree? So somehow we have to figure out the slope. Well, if I don't give you a graph that it's easy to count on, you have to use your slope equation. Your slope equation is this. And then I label my points, x1, y1, x2, y2. If you flip-flop, you want x2, y2, x1, y1, it's still going to be the same. So then we plug our values in. I have -3 minus 5, 0 minus 2. So I get -8 over -2. -8 over -2 reduces to what? Positive or negative? Positive. 8 over 2 reduces to? 4 over 1. So I like the fact that you put 4 over 1 because that shows me that you understand that you have a vertical and a horizontal component. If you gave me this as an answer, though, you're totally correct. So either of these purples are the correct answer. Okay? One of them just has 4 because 4 and 4 over 1 is the exact same thing. And one's not. Any questions so far? You okay? You guys all have a nice weekend? Good, good, good. All right. Then we get a problem that says, hey, we go through a point with a slope. Okay? So far I know this. So that means if I have y equals mx plus b, so far I know y equals mx plus 3. Agree? 2, -1 is not the y-intercept. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this equation. This is called the point slope. So I'm going to label this x1 and y1. And I already know my slope of being 3. So I'm going to get y minus 1 is y plus 1. And then my slope we said was 3. X minus 2. Notice how it went in and it became opposite when we put it in. Okay? Is this y equals mx plus b as it sits? Is y all by itself?
No.
No, so we want to get y by itself. So I'm going to distribute here. Okay? And then subtract 1. -6 subtract 1 is -7. Oops, I made a mistake. I didn't know the b value. I knew the slope. Here, just erase that. I made an error. I knew this so far, so we had to find b. So now we know our b value is 7, so y equals 3x minus 7. So if I had to graph this, it would cross the y-intercept at 0, -7, and then my slope would find me a second point. Use the slope as a map. So you could, if you'd like, have the slope be over 1. It's your choice. Okay? All right. The fourth problem. This is the x-intercept. 4 comma 0. Go right 4, put a dot right there on the x-axis. And this is a point. So I don't know the slope, and I don't know the y-intercept yet. I know the x-intercept, but I don't know the y-intercept. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to find my slope. And I'm going to plug it in. I get x1, y1, x2, y2. Let's find the slope. y2 I had is 0, minus y1 I had is 3, x2 I had is 4, x1 I had as negative 2, so it's negative, negative 2. So on top, I'm going to get negative 3. Hey, what does negative, negative mean? It means positive. So 4 plus 2 is 6. Can I reduce that? Yeah, that's going to reduce to negative 1/2. So far I know this, but I don't know what the b value is. Okay? Hey there.
What's up?
It's good to see you.
Can you see here?
Let's see, 2. That's for Mr. Peterson, right?
Yeah.
He's not in 54. Oh, 548A is the office next door. Was he in there by chance?
I don't know.
Okay, it's good seeing you. All right. So now I'm going to use this equation. Again, this is my point slope. And I'm going to solve this in order to get my value. So I'm going to pick either set of points. So let's change this to orange. So I'm going to pick this point. So I'm going to go y minus 3. Notice it was a positive 3, so that's not a negative 3. I have a slope of negative 1/2. And then I have x. What's the negative 2 going to become? Positive 2. Good. This is not in slope-intercept form, so I'm going to distribute 1/2 over the parentheses. Negative 1/2 times x is negative 1/2 x. Negative 1/2 of 2 is negative 1. Agree? Half of 2 is 1, and it's negative. And then I'm going to add 3 to both sides. So then I get y equals negative 1/2 x plus 2. A whole lot of stuff up there all at once, isn't it? Whole lot. All right. As soon as you're done with that, we're going to do another problem just like that, but we're going to step by step put all kinds of things. You tell me when you're ready. Anyone need more time? I know you do. Anyone else need more time? You get it? Everyone else good? Yep. All right. So let's do this. Okay. So 2 points. None that are y-intercept. Do you agree with that so far? 2 points, none that are y-intercept. So you don't have to write this down yet. I'll just put it all up there, and then I'll leave it up there. Okay, so very first step, label. So x1, y1, x2, y2. Feel comfortable with that? Second step, find slope. Okay, and the slope equation's this. Agree? That don't drop it. It doesn't work better when you drop it. All right, so we're going to find the slope. So I'm going to plug in the values that we labeled. So I have 13 minus 3 over 7 minus 2, which is going to give me 10 over 5, which I could reduce that to 2. Let's just reduce it to 2. and that's my slope. Any part of what we've done? Does the slope always have to come out to a whole number? No, it can be a fraction, but I just made it simpler because I know what you're going to come across on the assignment. Okay, third step. Okay, and things that you are going to plug into, you're going to plug here, here, and here. Okay? So, I always tell students, you already have x1, y1 labeled above, so go ahead and use that. If you use the other one, you're still going to get the same answer if you solve it for m. It's just, it's already labeled, so you might as well use it. So I'm going to get y minus 3, because it was positive 3, so it plugs in as negative. Slope of 2, x minus 2. Fourth step, solve for y, distribute as well. So you get y minus 3 equals 2x minus 4. How do I get y by itself once I distribute? Add 3 to both sides. Good. Say what? We're not in health class. We don't talk like that in here.
Hey, wait, yesterday it was this dude outside my house. He was like, expect unexpected, but don't expect it because what you are expecting is not expected because you expected it. I said, you sound like my own teacher.
So he was an idiot? Hey, it's okay. Hey, I'm going to be 51 in December. I'm as bright as a keyhole and as sharp as a marble, I'll tell you that. You guys are way smarter than I ever was in high school. All right, so my friends, that is the step-by-step if you're given 2 points and one of them doesn't happen to be the y-intercept. Okay? So, and I have to, I just realized this. I was like, oh my gosh, we're starting a new chapter. I don't have the answers. I don't have the answers put up yet in Power School, but I'll get it in there. Let's see. All right, so why don't you start on page 157, 158. And this is what we're going to do. I'm going to make this due end of Tuesday class. So I'd say you're going to probably start working on it tonight, and you're like, oh, shoot. Photomath? I'm not looking for the intelligence of photomath.
But I mean, I guess technically, I wrote it down.
You wrote it down. Oh, okay. Yes. That's called plagiarism.
I did my research.
You're taking the credit for something else that gave you the answer. All right. But the inequities of that, what happens when you have a student who doesn't have that phone? That's not fair.